Remember I told you I spend about half my time involved in student affairs? Well, this is how I spend the other half.
Taking parents to lunch?
Trying to get money.
Fancy word for fundraising.
Yeah, exactly.
50,000?
That's what the giving committee felt you'd be comfortable with, based on your past generosity to the Verbum Day School.
You know what we gave to Verbum Day?
Of course.
Well, I will have to talk to my husband.
50 grand? You gotta be kidding me. Those Jew pricks are holding a hostage.
He's Italian.
Jews with better food.
They know from Verbum we're big givers.
Stupid.
5,000 is a slap in the face to these people.
Well, let them say no. It's around 5 grand. Run it through your household account so you can write them a check. And that's it. Not a penny more.
She gonna give the money. She not fucking with him right now at all.
Convene a tumor board.
What the hell is that?
A meeting of the chief of oncology and oncological pathologist and other specialists who then work together to reach a consensus.
Then I guess you hear what they have to say.
Well, your uncle will not be present. They will pass their decision along to both of you.
And Kennedy will be there.
I assure you, no surgeon would miss it.
Not much to him, if you ask me.
What, you mean he's not Kennedy? You make life and death decisions because of a man's name. Let me ask you something about this JFK worship of yours. What about Hoffa and the Teamsters?
That was the brother.
Oh.
Dr. Krakauer? Hi, yes.
There we
Thanks for
go.
calling me back. I was referred by a Dr. Jennifer Melfi.
It says with pulp.
You like it with pulp.
Not this much. I like the one that says some pulp. The fuck was that for?
I'll write you up a list. Oh, honey, I missed you so much.
And she really did miss this motherfucker. Because she like,
You know, I figured
had
out
to
that
be
this is the
home alone
longest
with this
we've ever
guy.
been away from each other. Did you miss me?
Sure.
All the money you give to Angie Bompancero and who knows what other widows you've got on your payroll.
It's a business expense.
But there's not enough to make sure your own daughter is protected.
I won't pay. I know too much about extortion.
He's a sick fuck. He was sniffing her fucking panties.
What?
You heard me.
Christopher, you're moving up very fast. Why do you think that is?
Are you gonna say it's because I'm your fucking nephew?
So be a big boy and suck it up.
Nah, this motherfucker Paulie hating, yo.
Often too little healthy tissue was taken from around the tumor site, which leaves the possibility, as in this case, for a false negative.
You want the man's whole stomach.
He's high risk. His pressure fell below 60 systolic for 8 minutes on the table.
The incision's still fresh. I can do it in half the time.
See, he is surgeon.
Your patient sought a second opinion with Dr. Maida.
Forget it then. Last thing I need is to operate with that little shit looking over my shoulder.
Everything is some weird political shit, ain't it?
You sniff that girl's panties?
He told you that? Fucking baby.
Gotta apologize.
Hey, I'm not apologizing.
You out of line. He's gonna marry the girl, for Christ's sakes.
As of the wedding day, anything that touches a pussy is off limits.
Paulie a fucking weirdo, yo. The best thing about this season so far is they want to make sure you understand these are not redeemable, cool motherfuckers. These is all weirdo scumbag motherfuckers.
You don't know what this is like, Anthony. I can't do it. Kennedy was right.
Well, what's he gotta say?
I can't get him on the phone. The nurses won't put me through to him.
He didn't call you back?
Well, who knows if they even tell him? He must be very busy.
Yeah, that must be it.
Yo, they might fight right here, yo.
You're not even married yet. You're dipping into whores already.
Didn't cost me a quarter. I don't pay for it.
How'd you find me? Better be careful. If I can do it, so can your bride-to-be.
So what is this, huh? Some new rule about who I fuck? You want more shoes? What?
No, funny thing is, they don't even fit her. I don't know why I thought she was a size 10.
I don't know either.
You ever go whining to the big man again about shit between you and me, we'll have a problem, my friend.
Fuck is that?
My godson got it for me. They were all over the fucking place. We gotta bring one into the club.
Do not bring it into the club. Oh, God. He bought him a new driver? What is that?
Anyway, what am I gonna do with it? I already got one, and Mr. Williams here. He don't
Mr.
play,
Williams.
right?
Stupid fucking game.
What can I do with it?
What is it, Jack?
This is
just
high
give
quality
me a minute.
threatening. High quality threatening. What am I going to do with it, huh?
It's not doing so well. It's got a bad reaction to
They
that
about to
chemo.
that happens all
Get
the
him
time.
into the
There's nothing that
goddamn-
I can really do.
Into
You
the
know?
drink.
There are worse things that can happen to a person than cancer.
My uncle thinks he's gonna die. Now, you know how old people are with their superstitions. He thinks it's because he went against you.
You gotta be on your act.
Show that man the respect he deserves.
Cheryl, make sure Mr. Soprano is scheduled for 2.
Just remember it.
Is he seeing another woman?
Yeah, you can make that plural. Yes, he sees other women. I sort of look the other way. I want to help him.
Do you? Moments ago, you used the word divorce.
I said I was considering divorce. You are Jewish, aren't you?
Is that relevant?
Us Catholics, we place a great deal of stock in the sanctity of the family.
And you think
I'm
Jewish
not
people
sure that
don't?
Your people.
I've been married
What?
31 years.
Well, then you know how difficult it can
What
be.
the fuck was that, Carmela?
He's a good man. He's a good father.
Tell me he's a depressed criminal, prone to anger, serially unfaithful. Is that your definition of a good man?
I thought psychiatrists weren't supposed to be judgmental.
Many patients want to be excused for their current predicament because of events that occurred in their childhood. That's what psychiatry has become in America. Visit any shopping mall or ethnic pride parade to witness the results.
His crimes, they are organized crime.
The mafia.
Oh, Jesus. So what? He betrays me every week with these whores.
Probably the least of his misdeeds. You can leave now or you can stay and hear what I have to say.
You're going to charge the same anyway.
I won't take your money.
That's a new one.
You must trust your initial impulse and consider leaving him. You'll never be able to feel good about yourself. You'll never be able to quell the feelings of guilt and shame that you talked about, as long as you're his accomplice.
You're wrong about the accomplice part, though.
Are you sure?
All I did was make sure he's got clean clothes in his closet and dinner on his table.
So enabler would be a more accurate job description for you than accomplice.
Oh, shit,
My
boy.
apologies.
Oh, he is fire. God damn.
You think I need to define my boundaries more clearly, keep a certain distance, not internalize my...
What did I just say?
Leave him.
Take only the children, what's left of them, and go.
My priest said I should try and work with him, help him to be a better man.
How's that going? Have you ever read Crime and Punishment? Dostoevsky. It's not an easy read. It's about guilt and redemption. And I think for your husband to turn himself in, read this book, and reflect on his crimes every day for 7 years in his cell, then he might be redeemed.
I would have to get a lawyer, find an apartment, arrange for child support.
You're not listening. I'm not charging you because I won't take blood money. You can't either. One thing you can never say that you haven't been told.
I see. You're right, I see.
Is this shit gonna work? Or should we go back in the room?
You got a top guy here.
Him?
Guy I'd go see if I needed to.
Oh, you're a son of a bitch.
The important thing is you stay strong and keep fighting, all right? That's my home number.
You start to feel punk, you call me.
Come.
What?
You sick?
Everybody else in this family sleeps all day. I thought I'd try it.
You, depressed?
Figure in the division of labor around here, that's your job.
Because, you know, if you want to go to therapy on your own or something, I notice you've been a little tense lately.
That's rich. You suggesting I go to a shrink. I don't have the time. I'll still go to yours if you want.
You know best.
That dean called today.
Well, that can't be good.
I told him to put us down for the 50,000.
Carmela, I gave you 5. All right, maybe I could go another 5, maybe 10. But that's enough.
Tony, you gotta do something nice for me today. This is what I want. You gotta do this.
Why don't go to 10? That should be enough for those Morningside Heights gangsters.
I already told him 50.
$50 G's.
Yes.
You look like you could use a night off from cooking.
Chinese?
Say we go out.
Oh, they going to. So that was interesting how that episode ended. But as I said in the beginning of this reaction, I said in the intro, I appreciate what this show is overall, but when it comes to women, they're treating them as full humans, not just there to ornament the goddamn show, right? And the biggest one, the main one, is Carmela, because she's right there with Tony, and she's the one feeling everything alongside him. What is interesting is she goes and talks to Dr. Melfi, and I was actually surprised, like, oh, she went there alone? Well, Tony's like, nah, fuck that right now. Dr. Melfi doesn't really Carmela doesn't really understand the actual relationship between Dr. Melfi and Tony, because Tony says whatever when he gets home, right? Every time, So when she says, "Oh, I'm not the only one who isn't like sure about this," she brings up Tony. Dr. Melfi has to like kind of set her straight in that. Oh no, whenever we make a breakthrough, he takes time off like this, right? Okay, so when she lets her know outright that, yo, I need to go, you may need to talk to someone. We all have thought this. She had depended on the church. She has depended on family, even though both have let her down when it comes to mental health. I don't even think she saw it as a mental health thing for her. She just thought it's all about family, right? Like that Fast and the Furious made, right? And Vin Diesel. And so Dr. Melfi does something interesting here, all right? Because of how Carmela is. Carmela is very old school in her way of thinking. She's more old school in her way of thinking than Tony is. Oh, we're Catholic. We don't get divorced. She's on that like real homemaker shit. And it doesn't matter what your father did. You treat him with some respect. She's very old school, right? So you can tell by the end of this, oh, Dr. Melfi didn't just send her to anyone just on a whim. She sent her to someone. She didn't, of course, know exactly what he would tell Carmela. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Dr. Melfi knew that Carmela required someone to speak to her straight on her level, somebody who's old school. So let's get to how that went. When she's talking to this guy, he's laying it plain to her. He doesn't work the way that Dr. Melfi works with Tony, where she's doing that sort of, nah, you do the exploration. I'm here to guide you along. No. This guy is almost combative. He's challenging. He's making Carmela respond to the truths. He brought up her shame, her guilt. The thing I can say about him most is he didn't highlight anything that we, the viewer, haven't seen of Carmela. She's expressed and shown she has shame and guilt. She said that to the father, the priest. And notice he brought that up. The psychiatrist, because he could read that. He could read her like a motherfucker. So he's staying on her level. She needs to hear again what she already feels. Her depression doesn't just come from what's going on around her. Her depression comes from she knows how she should be responding and reacting to the things going on around her. And she knows she can't bring herself to. Now, it's one thing if it's just, oh, she's in it for the money and all that. Nah. It's not just that simple. Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but it's more, I would say it's more about stability, right? When she needs something, she uses it. She gets it. When, hey, we got to fix something, it's going to get fixed. There's a stability there more than it's the money thing. But she likes the comforts in life. Look how she is. Look how she dressed. I brought out the fact that she's sitting there how she is. There should be shame and guilt if she claims to be this super Catholic motherfucker like that, right? Because she only is invoking it when he talks about the divorce. And she brought that up. And it was, once again, Carmelo, that old school shit where she tried to say, like, not say, but, well, you know, you're Jewish, right? And I'm like, what? She's like, well, we hold family in high regard. It's like, and you don't think Jewish people hold? Like, what are you talking about, Carmela? But she is at the point, you can see it all through her face, all on this episode. She's just going through it. And she hides from herself, she hides what she truly knows has to happen for her to actually ever achieve some form of relief from the depression that she has. Okay? And it's becoming more and more evident. Her youngest son, he does not need her as much. There's like these final 3 years where they're in high school where, you know, basically just biding time until they bounce. They don't need you. You're doing all of that out of, like it was your choice. You do it out of choice, whether to keep making meals every night or ironing their clothes. They can handle themselves. In fact, they should be, right? And Carmela, it's becoming evident, as I said, yo, they about to be alone for a while. And she, just in this moment when and it's no surprise that the showrunners did it this way, at this moment where Tony Jr. goes off, I mean, did you see her face? Right? That wasn't depression. That was just like this sort of stern, you know, look. And then you had the thing of, at that same point, her trying to work alongside Tony. Her thinking is, if I'm holding you down, she knows you got the side chicks. She knows what you do for a living. She's like, and she holds you down. Her thinking is, dog, this is a one-time ask for this $50,000. Not even for me, for our daughter. Can you do that? And so when he responded in the way he responded, you saw the look on her face. It's really, you know what I mean? So when she threw that phone at him, and she said it's one on the list, yeah, that was one of those, like, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. So when that therapist calls her an accomplice, and she corrects him, and he goes, "Oh, so you're an enabler. My bad. I mean," right? That was so dope. That was so dope. She knows what she is, and it's something deeper. And just like this show, it does this thing of, you have this sort of regular, everyday life part of it, but then you have the criminal part of it, and she's definitely an enabler. She knows what she's involved in, even though, let me take that back, because that would be accomplice. She knows what her husband is involved in, that she makes sure that he's able to come home and have a good, settled life and all that. She knows that, and she has been dealing with it this entire time. Cool. Seems like it's just now affecting her, but it's affecting her because she's starting to feel it. You feel me? So it's one of these things of, I'm not saying she bad or she evil like Tony, but she know what's up. And the only reason she got an issue with him is that. So when he straight up says, "Oh, no, I'm not telling you to take anything from him. That's blood money. Did you hear me say that I won't take you? I don't want to get paid for this because I'm not taking blood money, and you shouldn't." So he laid it made it plain to her. Oh yeah, you're in that. And it's not just she's getting cheated on and all that. No. You're also a part of that lifestyle. So much so that a portion in this episode, when you have Ange, Pussy's wife, who didn't fuck with Pussy by the time he had bounced. She comes, she asks for some money, blah, blah, blah. And And it's one of those things where she don't just outright ask for it, but it's a struggle and it's blah blah blah. Okay, and Tony is feeling how he's feeling, and then when Tony does what he does, you're like, oh, this woman is a scumbag. But it's not just as simple as that. Is that she utilized Carmela because Carmela is completely involved with Tony, so she can get to Tony, and that it's another thing where it's clear. When it comes to money and the comings and goings, right up until the point of criminality, right up until that point, she's down with it, right? And so when Tony saw that chick was using and abusing the money that he gave to the widow, right? Like, because he's supposedly in witness protection, and I couldn't believe she did that, but it makes sense. It makes sense because we all expecting some sorry widow. That's not what she's gonna be about this, especially since she's not sure he died. She think he probably just ran off again, right? So because he's done it before, so she just on the take, like she taking shit, right? And Tony dealt with it how he dealt with it, partially because he came up there and saw all that, but also he don't want to hear no more about pussy, and that we saw that with the damn fish thing that happened, that Billy the Bass or whatever that shit is called. Yo, the thing with Chris and Paulie, interesting. Talked about this before. Even though Chris is maid, he's a new guy to the maid portion of the family, and New York is not playing. So they like, hey, no, this is the way things got to go. You understand? Okay, they got to go that way. But Paulie is taking it to another place. Paulie is sunning Chris. And he doing weirdo shit, like had him stripped fully naked. Okay, even that, you're like, okay. But then he talks about his dick. And then he sniffed his girl's panties after showing up in the middle of the night. Chris, part of it is, Chris got to understand the situation they in now. But the other part of it is Paulie, and that's what I like about this. They not making it seem like either is right. Chris has to understand they got to be real careful right now with this shit. The books were closed for that time because of what was going on. So anybody knew they got to treat it a certain way. But then Paulie is a piece of shit who's doing weirdo shit. And then when approached about it, he's like, listen, fucking up until once they're married, then I won't sniff the panties or have no dealings with where pussy touch. Like, it was just some weirdo shit. Yo, Uncle Junior, that portion, once again, melding the gangster part with the doctor part. I was like, when is that going to take place? And how? And so when Tony comes to the golf course and threatens him without ever full on threatening him, with Fury or whatever, it was funny. It was like, yeah, eventually that's going to happen. But there was what he was doing right now, as I don't know anything about medicine and nothing like that, but of course, Kennedy at a certain point is going to just want to keep doing it. Like, he's just going to want to keep doing surgery. But then when told, the greatest cancer researchers, at least in that universe, are involved with Junior now, my man backed out. And he wouldn't have had nothing to do with it. Wouldn't pick up the phone or nothing. And so he still knows that, he still don't want to do the surgery shit, but the least he could do was make the phone, approach Junior or make a phone call or something, respond back. And he came there and told him, nah, this guy is killing it. Hey, here goes my home phone number. Funny, right? And we're going to see where that goes. I didn't expect them to go this much into what Junior is going to deal with the cancer, and then even having him have that little dream under anesthesia or some shit like that about, because he still wants his place, right? So like, he knows for sure, and he still doesn't trust Tony all the way. So he knows I said he knows for sure. He doesn't know for sure he can trust Tony all the way. And the thought of Tony being able to like get rid of him, right? Because he was like he's a cunt hair away from being the head of Jersey, and he's like, and I'm that hair. Yeah, dog. Like that's actually true. But nah, Tony, not right now, right? Like y'all, we saw the way Tony and Janice were when they found out that he had cancer. This isn't one of those things where Tony is just trying to, have him get bad medicine so that way he'll die or some shit like that. Yeah, man. This was interesting. And I want to see the way it goes going forward. Hey, dope episode. Almost 20 minutes. Next episode.